There's only a handful of trails that can make a legitimate claim as being the best hike in America. Angel's Landing is certainly on that very, very short list. Views, 10 out of 10 for sure. Trail quality, 10 out of 10. Crowds, well, it's much better than it was before the reservation system. If you're only going to do a single hike in the Southwest, I would certainly recommend this. Angel's Landing is near the Utah-Arizona border in Zions National Park. You need to park at the visitor center and take a shuttle to the trailhead after you've secured a reservation. The trail is paved until you reach the saddle and then follows a knife-edge ridge to the top protected by chains. The total elevation gain is 1,800 feet over 4.3 miles. I would not call it dangerous, but you have to be careful. As of 2024, 18 people have died on the trail. In other words, absolutely know your limits and be careful. It's the beginning of Angel's Landing, and right after you get off the shuttle, we cross the river on this beautiful bridge. Right off the bridge, this is our first and perhaps best view of the mountain we're going to climb. This Angel's Landing right there. Looks spectacular. Just on every side are these sheer cliffs. It's just really hard to know where to look. Everything is so beautiful. Look at this crazy, crazy, crazy tree. Almost the sun. See a lot of cactuses on my typical hike. Trail is easy going. This is paved, but the views. You can see some of the first switchbacks here. All paved, super easy. I like the switchbacks down there.
All of that kind of.
Ooh. And up and up and up. After the initial ascent, we kind of go into this little canyon, and here my GPS absolutely freaked out. So you can see I'm all over the place. It thinks I'm going up and down the cliff or whatever. But it's really pretty, and if you're going in the heat of the day, then this will protect you from the sun. It's a nice kind of relief from that before we get onto the ridge and the switchbacks themselves. Spend just a little bit a minute after coming off the switchbacks in this cool little canyon here. It's kind of a break from the sun and from the view, but it's kind of cozy. And here's the end of the little canyon. Now we begin the switchbacks. A lot of people talk about the switchbacks being super difficult, but I mean, there's plenty of traction and super well-developed trail. Lots of resting places. It is quite a bit busy. I think this is the last switchback, so what is that, 20? Yeah, that's over there. And that's the canyon we were at below. Now I come above that, and that's the actual ridge. All right, we're approaching the saddle. So we've finished the switchbacks, and this is the permit-only area coming up here in a second. And now we're gonna begin the chains. So I'm gonna put the trekking poles away. And you know, it's not gonna be as hard physically because, you know, you're gonna be going more to the horizontal, but it gets a lot more technical. All right, here's the beginning of the famous chains. Good to go, good to go. Some places it gets really skinny. And this is one of them. Ooh, cliff on that side, cliff on this side, but the way super clear and easy going. I love all these unexpected viewpoints. It's like a nice little flat spot with an amazing view of Oblivion, and that's where we're headed. It's not too bad. And the sheer views of this trail are just outstanding. It just goes down and down and down. A little bit of scrambling, but super easy to find purchase. Okay, off to the summit now that we passed the most difficult part of the chains. And this was actually the most crowded part too. Right, here we are at the false summit. Just an easy ridge walk over to the true summit. You can see how well worn it is from all the footsteps. And compared to where we were before, this is pretty tame. But any other trail and you'd be like, whoa, this is kind of sketchy.
If I wasn't afraid that they would bite me, I wouldn't care.
The views on top of Angel's Landing are amazing. But like the picnicking crew and selfies, it's quite the scene for people watching. The best thing about Angel's Landing is the crazy cliffs. All right, take a look at this crazy tree. I mean, what is keeping it up? Its roots are madly scrambling for some sort of purchase, I guess. I mean, look over here, right? And yet, it is still holding on the edge of the precipice because there is nothing on the other side. So we started early, literally the first shuttle up, and so we saw very few people on the way up, but on the way down, it was really quite crowded. And I don't really mind the crowds that much, but you might. But it was really shocking how many people were having trouble just walking up this paved path. So definitely you have to be ready for this hike if you're going to do it. After coming off the saddle and after coming off the sketchy part of Angel's Landing, we're back to the switchbacks. It's not really as busy as I expected it to be, so I think I'm gonna have an easy time making it down.
He's like, did you turn around and look? It was basically like
Coming out of the canyon and is on the final face on the way out with this little bridge. I've never been here when there's rains to have this actually be filled with water, but I bet it's pretty cool. Love how they carved the trail out of the side of the mountain here, because it's a sheer cliff down one side. But easy going here. It's also pretty much the steepest part. So when you're going down, you're having an easy time, and everyone coming up is like gasping. So what do you think? Is this the best hike in America? Are the views comparable with anywhere else? Is this on your absolute must-do bucket list? It's mine. This is my 4th time. I think you got to do it too.